Thank you, Shraddha. The undergraduate speaker, Daniel Kuttner, is graduating with a triple major, a Bachelor of Science in Physics, Mathematics, and Computer Science. His physics senior thesis entitled Analytic Solutions to Phase Models of Phase-Coupled Belousov-Zhabotinsky Oscillators was carried out with Professor Epstein in the chemistry department. He will be starting a PhD program in physics at the University of California, Santa Barbara in the fall. He was elected to Phi Beta Kappa as a junior and received both the Elias Silver Prize in Science as a junior and the Charles K. Schiff Award in Science as a senior. Please join me in welcoming Daniel.
Congratulations to all of us, Brandeis Class of 2016. We have so many accomplishments to be proud of. In 1988, Bill Clinton, then Arkansas governor, delivered the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention. He droned on and on and on, putting people to sleep and drawing sighs of relief from the audience as he finally wrapped up his speech. I'll try not to do that. I could instead follow the strategy of Donald Trump and just tell you your future will be great again. It will be huge. I'm not a politician, so I won't do that either. I want to start by thanking my parents for always having my back, no matter what path I was taking. I'd also like to thank my Brandeis professors, especially Professors Epstein and Roberts, for encouraging me and mentoring me during the last 4 years. I wouldn't be here without all your support. Now that I'm graduating, I think it's a good time to admit to my professors that I have a bit of a secret. I never graduated high school. So, I guess I also need to thank the Brandeis Admissions Office for taking a chance on me. Some of you already know my story. I got sick my sophomore year of high school. I was constantly dizzy, nauseous, completely fatigued, and I couldn't concentrate. Even after weeks, doctors didn't know what was wrong. All my tests looked normal. But eventually I was diagnosed with a condition called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, abbreviated as POTS, which is probably not the best abbreviation. POTS is a disorder that affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls things like your heart rate, blood circulation, digestion, sleep cycles, and the ability to remain upright. Most people with POTS have overly dilated blood vessels, so I was placed on medications to constrict my blood vessels and raise my blood pressure. But I felt very little improvement. Every day was a struggle. Keeping up with schoolwork was nearly impossible. Weeks of feeling sick turned into months, which turned into multiple years. I began giving up hope of ever graduating high school. Many people with POTS grew out of the condition, but I didn't want to just sit around and wait. So in my free time, when I felt well enough, I read scientific studies on my illness, searching for a solution. This was my first introduction to scientific literature. While many papers were confusing, with the help of Google, I began to understand the potential mechanisms of POTS. I realized there are two subsets of POTS, one where blood vessels are too dilated, and one much rarer, where they're too constricted. For years, I had been given different medications, but each one constricted my blood vessels, and my symptoms were worsened. Since these medications produced the opposite of the desired results, I brought up with my doctor, a renowned specialist in the field, the possibility that I had the rarer form of POTS. He dismissed this, denying that the possibility of the rare subset even existed. But I persevered. Eventually, I was allowed to participate in a clinical research study that proved to my doctor that I have a unique version of the illness called low-flow POTS, as I had suspected. All along, my blood vessels were too constricted, and the treatments were making me worse. Finally, I was put on the correct medications, and here I am, graduating college. What I took away from my experience with POTS is that solving mysteries takes patience, creative approaches, thinking outside the box, and collaboration across disciplines. Ask questions. Don't blindly accept truths that others have imposed. Just because an expert has beliefs does not make them correct. While my story isn't your story, each one of you will hit obstacles in your life that you'll need to overcome. If it hasn't happened yet, don't worry, it will. You'll need to persevere. and you'll need to look to others to keep inspired. Whether it's someone from history, or a colleague, or a family member, there is always greatness to spawn inspiration and to remind you to keep moving forward regardless of the challenges you face. It will make you stronger and lead you down roads that are probably beyond your imagination right now. In my life, I draw inspiration from my family members. I've also looked at past generations of scientists to keep me motivated and encouraged. Stephen Hawking, a physicist who battles ALS, is one example, but there are many others who have overcome all sorts of hardships in their lives. The physicist Robert Hooke, who discovered the spring law, struggled just like I did. He was sick throughout his childhood, so much so that his parents gave up schooling him. He turned his attention to understanding the physical world, leading to discoveries in physics, in clockmaking, and in human memory. Rather than focus on his poor health, Hooke used his hardships to propel himself. His free time gave him the ability to explore his curiosity. Everyone struggles at times, but it's the response to hardships that sets people apart. A fortune cookie I received says, "You don't become a failure until you're satisfied with being one." The greatest truths come from fortune cookies. When I told my friends I was giving this speech, one suggestion was, since I'm a physics major, that I read the whole thing in Stephen Hawking's voice. I nixed that idea, but I'll share a Hawking quote with you. Hawking, as some of you may know, predicted the existence of radiation emitted by black holes, defying the consensus that black holes allow nothing to escape. Speaking at Harvard just this past April, he said, "Black holes aren't the eternal prisons they were once thought. Things can get out of a black hole. So if you feel you're in a black hole, don't give up. There's a way out." We are leaving the safety net of Brandeis at a time when discoveries are being made at a faster rate than ever before. And each one of us, as graduates of the Brandeis class of 2016, will be at the forefront. We've chosen to attend Brandeis and study the sciences because in one way or another, we all want to understand and change the world or the way we live our lives. Whether we're looking to cure cancer, or prove the Riemann hypothesis, or show that P doesn't equal NP, or maybe P equals NP, I don't know, or predict how proteins fold, we're all hoping to piece together the puzzles of the universe. I look forward to keeping up with your accomplishments, hearing about them at our reunions, seeing you in the news, and reading about you in scientific journals. Congratulations to all of us, Brandeis class of 2016.
The principal address this afternoon will be given by Dr. Donald Cepinelli, who received his bachelor's degree from the University of Massachusetts and received his PhD in chemistry from Brandeis in 1970. Dr. Cepinelli is a science and business executive with over 4 decades of board and C-level management experience as an entrepreneur, senior manager, and consultant and advisor to technology companies, and with expertise in establishing startups in the life sciences and materials sector. He's a former director of the Harvard University Chemical Laboratories. He was a founding director or senior manager of 12 companies, 4 of which went public, including Ariad